Israel Security Cabinet meeting going on now on the Gaza ceasefire plan. I think it's going like this. Bibi saying, we don't have a choice. We don't. We could go and continue to do what we're doing and say, no, this doesn't meet our needs. And, you know, maybe Trump decides, no, we're not going to do this anymore. You're not getting anything from us. We're done. So I think, you know, there's going to be some issues. There is. Both sides will have some issues along the way. But getting the hostages back and the remains of the hostages is the most important first step in any of this. And like we have said, they're giving up their only negotiating tool. This is it. They don't have anything else. Nothing else left. This is it. President Trump earlier.
You remember October 7th was terrible, but also from the Hamas standpoint, they probably lost 70,000 people. That's big retribution. But at some point, that whole thing has to stop.
Has to stop. Has to stop. That's it. Has to stop. It does. Hamas, they had nothing left. They've been, IDF had come down, crushed them. There's nothing. You go look at Gaza there, and you can pull up pictures, right? That's not fake. Those are real. There's nothing there. And they were also, the tide had turned even in Israel. People were exhausted. They were putting more and more reservists into jail because they refused to serve. They said that this is no longer serving a purpose. We're killing for no reason at this point in time. We're not focusing on the hostages. And that's why they were having to recruit from other countries. It doesn't mean it's going to hold up. It doesn't. I mean, Israel could say, I don't like this. Hamas could say, nope, I don't like this. But this is the first step. And, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time, kids. You got to take that first step. You may go up, take 2-3 steps, and then you might have to go backwards a few steps. And you might go forward, and you might have to go backwards. But the only person that was going to get this done was Trump. I give Trump a lot of crap because I think he makes his life hard at times on himself that he doesn't have to. But in reality, this is one of those things where you needed somebody who wasn't. This is the first president that has been able to look at Israel and say, no, we're done. This is what's happening. This is it. It's the first one. The first one. And he didn't just say it. And what happened on Friday, which not a lot of people picked up on, but I think it was an Israeli reporter asked Trump, what do you think about them, us and Israel and the West Bank? Because we've heard that. And he said, that will not happen. That is never, we won't allow that to happen. And that was the first signal like, okay, let's see. And then they got into it over the weekend because the quiet negotiations going on behind closed doors where Israel really wasn't involved, they were pointing towards, let's get this done. Let's get this done. And they are trusting. This is a crazy thing. Hamas and the Palestinians are trusting Trump. They're not trusting Israel. They're trusting Trump. Because Trump got it done in their mind.
Well, Robin, there's no question that if this goes as planned, if we see those remaining hostages freed and Israel begin its withdrawal, it is a remarkable achievement, and President Trump most certainly deserves credit for his role. He has done this through diplomacy, pressure, and the sheer force of his personality and persistence. He dispatched diplomats again and again, made threats just in the last few days to Hamas, saying again if they did not sign the deal, all hell would break loose. And they had the bombing of Iran as an example of that. But perhaps most importantly, he pushed Benjamin Netanyahu in ways his predecessor and others have not.
Yeah. I saw David Ignatius, who's a Washington Post, guy, not a fan of Trump, old school, say there was no way Biden could ever get this done. No way. He didn't have the cojones. You needed somebody, like I said earlier, somebody who was a sledgehammer in this situation. And what is Israel going to say? There has never been a more pro-Israel president than Donald Trump. But he's also a little bit anti-war. That's what I hear. And because of that, he wants this done. He's also looking at the numbers. The tide has turned for the first time ever since the 80s, since they started taking the polls. More people support Palestine and a two-state solution than they support Israel. The younger generation, Israel's lost. It's going to take a long time to get those people back. And I think Trump decided, I'm going to have to save them from themselves. I'm going to have to save them from themselves.
He's also not a big fan of extended negotiations either. He wants what he wants, and he wants it soon. And if he doesn't get it, he gets irritated and starts trying to figure out ways to force it.
I think he's the negotiation side of things in this situation. I don't think he trusted Israel anymore. I think after the whole Qatar thing, I don't think he trusted them.
Well, I think that's the reason he started threatening for all hell to break loose on Hamas was because they were dragging their feet. And he's like, we're not dragging our feet anymore.
No, we're not. And I think he also knows something. You've got to know, like, this is my timeline to get somebody to buy whatever it is that I'm selling them.
Yeah.
This is it. But he's reading the room. And the room says the tide has not just turned, but it's now turning to the point where this could affect me and us and Americans. By the way, the support for Palestine, that's one thing that it's now gone over to, to Israel's side. Here's the other thing, though. The support to not give any more military assets and money to Israel, that was way bigger than even the support for Palestine. And it took a Trump-like move to get it did. So we'll see. This thing's going to go, again, there's only so much you can do because no matter how much Trump tries, let's be real, you're also dealing with other people in another part of the world. So there's that. And that could be interesting. Earlier today, the whiners on CNN were all upset because, I'll continue to say it. If this works out the way that potentially, even if it's half of what they think it is, you got to give them the Nobel Peace Prize.
So I would say give it to him so we could stop talking about it because it is so obnoxious that he thinks he should get it. I mean, we could go through all of the number of reasons why he shouldn't get it. He's going to invade Greenland. The rights he wants to take away from press, pulling on the World Health.
Been talking about invading Greenland. I mean, listen, I feel like
Donald Trump said he was going to invade Greenland.
The villain origin story of this is when Obama won the Nobel Prize, and the perception on the right was he did not deserve it.
What he is doing to this country, what he is doing to pulling out of the World Health Organization, how he treats journalists and doesn't want free speech for folks. Okay. There's a lot of reasons why he shouldn't get it. But all of your reasons have nothing to do with the prize is given for. It's like somebody goes into the Hall of Fame, but we're not going to put them in the Hall of Fame for their actions on the field because of their personal life.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's ridiculous. Invading Greenland? Is he really going to invade Greenland? I thought that was done. I thought he wanted to buy it. Wasn't he in negotiation to buy Greenland? Was that the whole thing?
Well, they said they didn't want to sell, so he's like, okay, I'll adapt.
I'll get around to it.
How about this? We'll just say it's ours. We'll do like what China does to Taiwan. It's ours. There you go.
China doesn't have a base in Taiwan, though.
Oh, my goodness me. It's like she's talking about, yes, Trump loves, he's driven by ego. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You don't get to the position that these people are in without having ego. You have to have, especially people like, look at great athletes. You think Michael Jordan has an ego? You think Kobe had an ego? Oh, they got egos all day. right? You think those things happen. Egos, very real. And Trump is one of those things. And he recognizes that. And yeah, the Nobel Peace Prize, why would you not? If this thing goes, well, why would you not? Because he mean tweets? That's so stupid. He's the mean tweeter. It's all he's ever been is the mean tweeter. No, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Now, Bibi, on the other hand, and I told you guys this, so this is Monday. Bibi is already priming the pump for Iran. So, because you have to have some sort of conflict.
People probably don't believe it, right? I don't believe it. Oh, we're far away, right? No, you're not. Iran is developing now ballistic missiles that are intercontinental ballistic missiles for 8,000-kilometer range. What does that mean? They add another 3,000 kilometers, and they've got under their atomic guns, in New York City, in Target, Washington, Boston, Miami, Mar-a-Lago. Okay? So that is a very great danger. You don't want to be under the nuclear gun of these people who are not necessarily rational and who chant death to America.
Already talking about Iran. That's the other thing that Trump told Bibi last week. Oh, yeah, we're already talking to her. We're talking to Iran. We're negotiating. I told Bell this, and I mean, you could give Iran a nuclear bomb, put it in Times Square, and tell them, you do what you want with it, but the repercussions are this. They're not going to do anything. They're not. Because there is no mutual assured destruction. There isn't any of that. With Russia, if we went to war, there's a mutually assured destruction. Everything's done. Some places we might have a few people left over. Bell in his bizarre world where he lives in underground.
Luxury underground.
Your luxury
bunker.
underground facility. But otherwise, it's done. No. He wants more. He likes the chaos. He's looking for something. And no, I don't want to fight Iran. I don't want to fight any wars. How about we focus here in America and get stuff taken care of? And how about we do that? Anybody good with that one? Anybody good with let's take care of all the stuff we got going over here? Stop sending money to places even like Argentina. Oh, by the way, did you see Milei the other night in his hard rock concert?
Oh, yeah.
How's that $20 billion? You feeling good? Okay, good. Fantastic. Hey, we're 36
I think there's going to be
the
World's Got Talent show, and Zelensky and Milei will both be on it.
Yeah, Milei.
Zelensky will be telling his jokes.
Doing his sketches.
Yeah.
His version of Saturday Night Live. All right, coming up. I think we're still shut out. I think the government shut down. I'm not quite sure. Nobody's really told me yet.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of. We're still waiting to hear. The hearings are going on. One finished in Oregon about the National Guard, and I think the other one in Chicago is going on now. Plenty of stuff to talk about with that. A bunch of other goodies, fun stuff as well, kids. If you miss any show, we say shame on you. Check out our podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Yeah, there should be some concern. I mean, what'd they win it by? Like 12 points, 15 points with Trump back then in Green? Yeah, I would see. You've got Afton is, if she gets out there and pulls a Mondami and, and they get some money behind her and things aren't going great, you could see how it could be much closer than I think they would like it to be. Like anybody, you want to win by 100, but you're not going to.
Well, she puts a lot of effort into grassroots, trying to get the younger people out to vote.
Which is important. That's why Trump has TikTok.
Yeah, the Republicans cannot assume that this is a given. They need to get out there and vote, or Afton has an honest shot of winning.
Which is, because we always talk about, the whole gerrymandering, redistricting. The reality is you set it up so you win. But every once in a while, you may find that demographics change and or things aren't going great, and it just happens to be the right time and something happens. Now, I still think, Mega Matt will win. But I think this was more of a wake-up call, which is good, right? It's like one of those things where when you want your team that's going well, you're glad they take a loss here or there because maybe it kicks them in the pants and wakes them up a little bit. That could be one of these things. That could absolutely be one of these things, which is, that's what you kind of want.
She's definitely the underdog, but that doesn't mean she's automatically going to lose.
No. But she is the underdog, and she recognizes that. She ain't no fool. Can I just say, guys, I was sitting there last night. I was telling my wife, I think we should start a cult. Do you know how easy it would be? First of all,
we'd have to get big sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
Will there be meetings?
No. That's our cult's going to be about nothing. Literally nothing.
As long as there's no meetings, I'm in.
I was watching people yesterday send out everywhere, all over like TikTok and Insta and stuff. And why it's important is because more than half of Americans, almost 60% of Republicans and over 50+% of Democrats get their news and everything from social media now. What's crazy is with AI, people are easily fooled because they don't have the wherewithal to go, I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I'm seeing it's like every other post, man. There's the big thing going on right now is there's a baby playing in the yard.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, a couple of grizzly bears are climbing over the fence, but yet here comes a German Shepherd that scares them away.
Oh.
That's not happening.
And a good percentage of both groups will see something that makes them feel good and go, oh, I'm good. I totally accept that.
Yeah. It's like all of a sudden there's just all these bears getting into people's yards threatening to kill children.
Just children.
And I mean, people are just following.
Bald eagle stealing your dog right out of the backyard.
Bald eagle actually wearing, oh my God, he's got a wig. He's got a toupee for bald eagles.
Yeah.
So they had, and here's the other thing, how good the lip syncing is getting. They had the guy that is the head of the Oregon National Guard. And this was a hearing that was like 6 months ago. And they took his voice, they recloned his voice, and made it sound like the Oregon National Guard was going to fight for and against the California National Guard that was there and take on ICE to protect the protesters. Thousands of likes, people saying, you're a hero, you should watch out. None of it was true. Yeah. None of it. It took one click. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
None of it was true. Nobody bothered because, like you said, they were affirmed in their belief that this is the person that's going to protect us.
And that's even more dangerous.
Yeah. Have you seen the here's this is the one, though, where I thought that we could do a cult. This guy, it's Sora, right? So if you guys know what Sora is, that's the new, like they've upgraded in a way where you can go do stuff so quick. There's like a big aquarium and there's tiny dolphins in there. And he's like, I'm selling these right now. They're amazing. People are like, how much? What? How much? Because they're only like 6 or 8 inches long. And he's also got another one where, and he's not real, where he's got a baby giraffe, a tiny one that's only like 30 inches. He goes, yeah, we're producing these great. They're going on sale. How much for 2?
Yeah.
You idiots. How stupid are you?
Just Venmo me the cash.
That's right. You know what? This is the way I feel about that. That right there, if that happens to you,
that's
and
too bad.
You only lost $30, you learned a smart lesson that it was only $30, you idiots.
Yeah.
Goodness me. That's why we got to start a cult. Coming up, we've got the National Guard troops now deployed in Chicago area. That's what I'm hearing. I'm not quite sure where they are, according to CNN. And the hearings were going on. Oregon just finished. We got a lot of stuff still to talk about. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Oh, 0803 says, I'm not charming enough to be a cult leader. I don't think you understand how charming I am.
All you need is a big pair of sunglasses.
Is that true?
And some Kool-Aid.
I think you totally have the personality to be a cult leader.
That would be fun. It would be great.
Absolutely.
Again, I'm very casual, too. It's going to be a lot of hanging out and doing nothing.
No jumpsuits?
and nobody's going to get neutered. You know what I have to say? For all, like, we could talk about the Kool-Aid stuff all you want with Jim Jones. We could talk about that all day. We could talk about the Waco. You could talk about a lot of stuff. The fact that P and Doe, or whatever the hell their names were, got those people to cut their grundle off.
Yeah.
My God, that is spectacular.
That's true. As a true believer right there.
I mean, you think about that. Okay, shaving your head. You know what?
Yeah, all right.
Okay. But to go, hey, you guys have to go in and neuter yourself. Whoa.
Those people were all in, man.
They were. I mean, you were sold for the cause. You were into it.
Got brand new Nikes.
Can you imagine them out proselytizing and, well, what's in it for me? And pulls his pants open. It's like, I'll take a pass on that.
I was really into that, but no. I bought it. I thought, you know what? I could see how behind. Was it Haley's Comet or Hale-Bopp?
Hale-Bopp.
Hale-Bopp, yeah.
The thing was behind. And funny thing is that the one they were looking for has just now arrived.
So they're a little off schedule there.
They're a little off schedule. But how do you approach people with that request?
Well, you don't couch it as a request. It's something you have to do for the cause.
You get them in.
Yeah.
You get them in, and you get them believing, and then you drop it on them.
God, that is. I would have really had second thoughts. I mean, like, I'm all about the UFO guys, but I'm going to think, you know what?
No, I'm not.
No,
not going to do that.
And then they did it in phases, right? So it wasn't like they all died at the same time. It's like, hey, you guys are going to go tomorrow, and they're going to go next week, and we're just going to leave them in the bedrooms.
I will. I'll go to meetings and wear a jumpsuit before I emasculate myself.
Yeah, that would be a man. That's. Look, I just got to say props to the game. All right, that's a lot of game. Was it T and it was Doe and T?
I can't remember.
I know what you're saying, but I can't remember what it was.
What was the name of what?
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Heaven's.
So there's got to be
T-Pain and Play-Doh.
T-Pain and Play-Doh. Yeah, the cult, because there's got to be.
Doe and that was Marshall Applewhite.
Yeah.
Then, T. Bonnie Lou Nettles. T-I. T and Doe.
The whole thought, like I say, I absolutely appreciate the game, because if I was going to do a cult, man, I want to do one of those ones where the guy gets like 40 chicks. If you could do one, let's go big. Not one where it's like, hey, we're all going to cut our nuts off and then we're going to drink some Kool-Aid in a giant, huge spaceship behind
we're going to kill ourselves.
Oh, goodness me.
You want to be like Justin Theroux's character in Wanderlust.
Yes.
That movie cracks me up, man.
There's some crazy cults out there, but this.
Yeah, this was
like they were a small group, but they were very committed.
Absolutely.
Man, that is just insane. Insane, everybody. This is very interesting. So Mike Johnson, I heard that's his real name. So C-SPAN, like I said earlier, they do calls. And so, once a day, people will come in and, here comes Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. And so they've got like a liberal line, an independent line, and a conservative line. And, and you can call and ask them questions. It's a woman named Samantha, who I'm going to play this. It's, we might stop and start it, but you hear the pain in her voice. Her family's in the military. Her husband's in the military. They're a military family. And you hear the pain in her voice. And I tell you what, how are they not the ones getting paid?
Hi, Mr. Johnson. So my question or comments are related to what you said yesterday about not being open to pass any legislation to ensure that military gets paid. I'm sure you can tell by my voice I'm very shaky. Just want you to hear a little bit about my family. I have 2 medically fragile children. I have a husband who actively serves this country. He suffers from PTSD from his 2 tours in Afghanistan. If we see a lapse in pay come the 15th, my children do not get the medication that's needed for them to live their life, because we live paycheck to paycheck. I heard you earlier say that you side with President Trump on anything that he says. Well, I just read an article this morning that said he absolutely wholeheartedly believes that there needs to be legislation put in so that we do not miss a paycheck. You have the power to do that. And as a Republican, I'm very disappointed in my party, and I'm very disappointed in you, because you do have the power to call the House back. You did that, or you refused to do that just for a show. I am begging you to pass this legislation. My kids could die. We don't have the credit because of the medical bills that I have to pay regularly. You could stop this, and you could be the one that could say military is getting paid. And I think that it is awful, and the audacity of someone who makes 6 figures a year to do this to military families is insane.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. It is. It is absolutely. He got tore up by several people. And look, good on him for coming on the shows and doing stuff like that. He probably didn't, he's probably not used to people speaking to him that way. But the reality is that I know Trump is looking. There may be an 1800s law, and I'm checking with my constitutional law buddy, that the administration and the commander-in-chief can kind of go, hey, you know what? We can fund them. We're going to pay them. So there may be that. But right now, what have we talked about? It isn't until somebody gets the blame. What did Chuck Schumer say? Every day this thing goes longer, we win. Who are we? Because we are the American people, you dumbass. We are. And you know what? Johnson needs to get his butt back in there. They should be in session. They should be talking and stop playing games. These are real world consequences for people who don't live paycheck to paycheck. So last hour we found out John Thune is worth what? $7 million? What do you think Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, is worth? Let's see. This is a whip around here. What do you guys think?
15.
15? All right, Ken, what do you think?
10.
10. Mike Johnson, net worth. He can't be worth $3 million. That's it? Nope, $10 million. There you go.
I just guessed.
So
Ken cheated.
Of course, now how real is that before? So he gets $223,500 as Speaker of the House. He has a house in Louisiana where it's $600,000, although it's not fully paid off. But it's not like no, he's not wealthy. He's not, but he hadn't been there very long.
$10 million is wealthy, dude.
No, they said, again, I'm going with I look at it this way. What do I think his net worth really is? Because those things are always way off. But I would assume he's worth a couple $1 million, at least. But he's not living paycheck to paycheck. And by the way, he doesn't pay for anything. You think those guys pay for anything? I've got friends who are congressmen. They don't pay for anything. Their staff's paid for, right? They got a budget for that. And they go to dinner. Yeah, if they go to dinner or get lunch or something. But by and large, they don't pay for anything.
Well, a lot of those dinners are paid for by lobbyists.
Yes. So, goodness me. I could see, yeah, you should be upset, man. You should be doubly upset. We should all be upset. Do your job.
When I was doing record promotion, there were times that I would have a program director call me and go, hey, let's go to dinner tonight. Because he knew I was going to be the one paying.
That's exactly it. You are the one paying. Get out there and do your job. Do your job. And speaking of, this is a perfect example of a lot of what I don't like. Mostly I don't like any politicians. But there's a couple that I'm like, okay, I like you. That's why and I wasn't afraid to hammer this guy when he was under investigation. His name's David Schweikert. He's from Arizona. David's a really nice guy. And you know why you don't know who he is? Because that's the way it's supposed to be. And David, and let's just say he's on the one. He's on. They've got all of these things. Here's your assignment here. Here's his assignment that he's on. It's the one that's the powerful one. This is the one you want to be on. But I love Schweikert because he's honest and he tells it like it is. But nobody knows who he is. He could walk in here, you wouldn't know. Most people have no idea. He doesn't do any interviews. But he was talking to my buddy Broomhead the other day, talking about what politics is really like.
You have people who hold themselves up as, I'm really conservative, or I'm this and that. And then when you actually work with them, you find out it's theater. It's, I exist because I want to be famous on social media. I want to be loved on cable news. And there's very few members in Congress who just grind it out. I probably read 4 or 5 hours a day, every night, because if you're not constantly reading all these things that are being put out, I did a presentation at the conference a while back on the Social Security and Medicare Actuary Report. Got halfway through the presentation and realized not a single other member of Congress had bothered to read it. And you're showing them the table saying, do you understand what's going on? And they're looking at you, and later it was explained to me, we won't get invited to be on Fox News tonight to talk about this. That isn't what our voters care about.
Right.
But they're going to care a hell of a lot about it in 7 years when everyone takes a 24% cut in their Social Security check. And there's your problem, is the real work doesn't make you famous.
That's scary, but it's true. It doesn't. And we talk about celebrities, these people who are more concerned with followers, likes, subscribe, shares, how many people are on my Insta, how many people are on my TikTok, how they're more concerned about that than getting a job done. And I think he would tell me stories of people in the Democratic Party having to get off at a different floor than where their office is because if anybody saw them together, the internet would tear them apart. And I'm like, what? Or having him, I'm co-sponsoring a bill, and they would come and say, hey, take my name off of it because people are going to be mad at me on the internet. That's not the way we do things. That's ridiculous. And there's way too many people, I think, who absolutely are celebrities. And they love the fact that they're celebrities. They love the fact that they've got those likes and subscribes. They love that. They represent 70,000 people, but they're excited they got 1 million followers. And they're more important. All right, coming up. Good stuff, kids. More on AI because some of you guys are sending me AI stuff. I didn't even get through half of my fun, crazy AI stuff yesterday. Who are you people that believe everything? Have you ever thought, I wonder if that's true? I wonder if that is true. Nobody's curious, ever? Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. A lot of you are chiming in about that lady. Oh, she was a liberal plant. She's not real. And several of you said, she should get a job. You're worried about your husband and not having your paycheck because they're in the military. You should get a job. Anything for the cult.
Maybe the government should stop screwing us.
Maybe they should do their jobs. How about that?
Pass a freaking budget.
A budget. Not a CR, but a budget. Pass a budget. Do it. It shouldn't be this hard. You know what? None of you have other jobs, right? I don't think any of them, you don't get a stipend and then you have to go home and run your hardware business.
Yeah, this isn't like the state legislature.
No. This is your job. But unfortunately, you are led by people who, well, they're your big donors and you're always trying to win points. So it's unfortunate that we have this situation. It is. It is unfortunate that there is a situation where people are more concerned, not about and I've said this since I was a kid, it's party first, most important. Personal, them second. And whatever's left, the serfs can have it. You take it. Go. You're welcome. Oh, my goodness me.
Say thank you to me.
Yes.
Say thank you to me.
Yes. Kiss the ring. Kiss the ring. No, that's not a plan. And John Thune said, well, they're going to be missing their paycheck, the military. Why? Why are you getting paid? I'm still curious about why you get paid. The people that make the most get paid.
And how the hell is a military person considered non-essential?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because I bet you if a war started today, pay or not, they're going to go and fight it. What do you guys think? Probably.
And air traffic controllers too, man.
Yeah.
Well, they're already overworked.
They're overworked.
I mean, because we're already short.
So short. And there's some things where you're like,
I mean, this is the safety of the American public here.
But see, that's just it, man. You've got to be able to use those kind of stories to tell the people why the other side's bad. That's the problem. Is you use the stories of, we can't, it's, you got Chuck Schumer. It's like, every day this goes on, it gets better for us. No, it doesn't.
That is going to come back to haunt.
It's going to come back and bite you in the ass, as it should. As it should. You've got to, it's so many people are frustrated. Well, the people that pay attention, because we talked about earlier, a third of America had no idea they were closed. But so many people, I think, are waking up more and more to how ridiculous politics has become. And I hope there's an awakening of what I call the exhausted majority, who are over theatrics, who are over the ridiculousness, and just want people to do the job. That's it. Not try to win in a meme war, but do the job. Not that meme wars aren't important, but they're not that important. Coming up, hour number 3 of the program is some more good stuff. Talk a little bit more about what's going on in the Middle East. Looks like come Monday, hostages could start to come back. We'll talk about that. A bunch of other good stuff, finding out more about what's going on with the National Guard in Oregon. This is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.